They're such professional realtors. Everybody works together and they want to see everybody do well. So everybody helps in that aspect. And we also have fun.
There's something to be said about a boutique hotel, boutique brokerage. Our knowledge and our roots go down super deep in this town.
I really do love what I do wholeheartedly. I never thought I'd be doing real estate, but you get to meet so many beautiful people and you get to see the whole fruition from the start of the process, right? And then they find their home, which is amazing. And then you can see them walking around the streets of Saratoga and just enjoying it and all the restaurants and everything.
Welcome to the Destination Saratoga All Access Podcast, brought to you by Discover Saratoga. Here is your host, Mackenzie Zarzicki.
This podcast takes you behind the scenes with the people shaping Saratoga County's vibrant culture, rich history, and thriving community. This episode is sponsored by Julie & Co. Welcome back to the Destination Saratoga All Access Podcast. I'm here at 637 North Broadway, also known as the Palazzo Saratoga. I'm joined by owner and broker Julie Bonacio, along with real estate salesperson and my good friend Sheila Sperling. We're talking real estate, community, and what makes Saratoga such a special place to call home. Welcome, ladies.
Thanks,
Hello,
Mackenzie.
thanks for having us.
Of course, I feel so royal. This place is amazing.
Very, very special. It is a diamond in the rough, a gem in Saratoga without a doubt.
Absolutely. So tell us more about it. I know this is one of your listings. It's currently for sale.
It is. It's currently on the market. It is just under 20,000 square foot, 6 bedrooms, all en suite, 13 bathrooms. You sit at a AAA location right on North Broadway, surrounding all this history, steps away from downtown. When you're in the backyard, you literally feel like you're in Europe. Yeah. You've got a pool house, which is exquisite. You've got a wonderful pool. There is a Bali room. There's a theater. There is a beautiful study, 2 kitchens, custom designed by Clive Christian. There is a bowling alley. There's a gym. So it is a one-stop shop for entertaining, an entertainer's dream.
Yeah.
It is just beautiful for family and friends to entertain. The details, the customization, the quality of the work is just, it doesn't get any better.
How has the current owner brought in their style or their taste to this property?
So the current owner went through and did all the non-sexy details in which the home needed of this stature. Yep. So they went through and did all new HVAC, all new plumbing, all new heating, cooling, electrical, alarm systems. So that took probably about, oh my God, I think he worked on it for about 6 months to a year.
Wow.
So this operation is totally turnkey, up to date. Also in the backyard, they did this beautiful bluestone patio. So you've got 6 different fountains. And again, it just is very welcoming as well. You can really entertain again in here and not be so over ostentatious. They had artists in here for months and months and months, and they wanted to do some very detailed representation of their travels.
So I want to talk a little bit about your personal connection. Julie and Sheila, I know you have a relationship that goes way back. Could you share how your families got to know each other?
So it's way, way, way back. Sonny's, Julie's husband, father, and my father worked together at Sears down in Colony Center. And my dad was the chef. That was back when Sears had a diner. He told Sonny's dad that he was going to quit and he's going to open up his own restaurant here on Broadway, 458 Broadway. And that was in the 70s. That was back when half of Broadway was boarded up. There was not a lot of commerce. 87 came in the 60s and people didn't go through Saratoga anymore. They went around it. So there wasn't a lot going on. And my mother thought he was crazy for buying a building when half of Broadway was boarded up. But he worked at Sears and then he told Sonny's dad that, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna open up my restaurant. It was called Noby's Tavern, and then it was called Yesterday's. But before he opened up, Sonny's dad came in and buffed his floors and made it shiny and everything, and never gave him a bill. From that day on, my dad's like, that's it. So.
And you had an Alfio Bonacio Jr. who was helping doing that work as well. So Sonny, I talked to him earlier. He's like, I remember helping out with that. And he was on the cruise. So yes, he did that.
Aww.
And then you guys lived upstairs, correct?
We did.
Yes.
We lived
So
above
he
the
was
restaurant.
like, they were playing with their towels and I was cleaning. So yeah, so a lot of history back there. And
We went to high school
father-in-law-
together.
Yes,
love
and I
that.
went to school, yeah. Your sister Amy was in my grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that connection started back in 1976. And then fast forward, in the mid-1990s, when you guys bought Saratoga Arms, Sonny Bonacio Construction did that renovation in the first phase for them.
Great.
So
Wasn't that Sonny's first commercial rehab, I
it
think?
certainly was. Yes, it was. The
Wow.
first phase, and then you put the second phase on. And then from that day forward, Sonny would razz, and you and your Sonny and your father had this banter that would go back and forth. So yeah, it was. It started back in 1996 with my father-in-law and your dad, and then moving forward and having Sonny do that first commercial job. And to bring that back again, Saratoga with the history, that building, there were bats flying through it. Do you remember? It was just
yeah. I
run
was-
down. I think there were people living in there.
It was only rented to men for $40 a month. And and I was living in Atlanta at the time. And I told my parents, I said, you guys are way too old for this project, but it's been great.
It's been fantastic.
it's been a good
It is
project.
a staple now
I
on
could not
Broadway.
imagine Saratoga Springs without Saratoga Arms.
I know.
100%.
It literally is the epitome of glitz and glamour and Saratoga history.
And that front porch.
The Saratoga front porch. I love it.
It's divine to
I
sit
love
there
it.
and dine and have cocktails. Yes, and your chef's amazing.
Yes, the food there is epic. And you just opened it up to breakfast on the weekends, right? So anyone can
Every
go,
day.
not just guests. Every day.
It's the best kept secret.
So good. So good. Well, I'm so glad that you guys have this connection, and Saratoga wouldn't be the same without it.
And I so enjoy working with her, and she's an amazing agent. And
Yeah, so it's like every 20 years we have something that... and
our families kind of reconnect
Yes.
in a certain way.
And so
yeah.
and about 5 years ago, I started working at Julie & Company.
So what is it like working with your friends?
Oh, you know what? It's awesome. It's because they're such professional realtors, and they've got their business, and I have to say, everybody works together, and they want to see everybody do well. So
Yeah.
everybody helps in that aspect, and we also have fun.
We have a lot of fun. And there's something to be said about a boutique hotel, boutique brokerage.
Yeah.
It's very intimate, and we're local, and our knowledge and our roots go down super deep in this town, and
love
we just
that.
know everybody.
Speaking of knowing everybody, you are definitely becoming the relocation specialist for Saratoga. Tell us about what it's like, your real estate journey, and how you became the relocation specialist.
Well, a couple of years ago, the New York Times, in the real estate section of their Sunday paper, a couple of years ago, they did a whole article on Saratoga and relocating to Saratoga, and they interviewed me. And it's just knowledge. It's just who we know. It's not just about buying a house or selling a house. It's
Yeah.
really like all encompassing. When people move to Saratoga, they don't have anybody.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have a doctor. They don't have what grocery store should I go to, everything. So I really help them live like a local quickly.
So tell us about one of your favorite real estate memories or moments.
Mackenzie, she was my very first listing. How many
I
years ago?
love
7
that.
years ago? My very first
2019.
listing. You never forget your first. Right?
So she said no.
I did not know that, so that's a little tidbit that I'm learning.
We were on the Coisa board together, and you had said, I would like to become a real estate agent. Can I list your townhouse? And I had a townhouse in Milton at the time, and Ben and I were looking to move into town. So I'll let you tell the story.
Well, what was your experience?
It was awesome.
She's interviewing you
I know.
now. I
We're
love
going
it.
back and forth. It was awesome, honestly. I mean, I was like 28 years old. I had no idea. So I bought the house in foreclosure, and my mom found it and did all of the due diligence, and we got it. And we did a lot of rehab on that house. My God, when we went in, it was the middle of winter. The place had frozen over. The pipes were frozen, and it was just like an ice skating rink.
Oh,
so
wow.
immediately we had to do everything, like new subfloors, new floors, new
Became your own contractor.
literally. Well, actually, my stepfather worked with Sonny a long time ago. It's so funny.
Okay,
Such
this
a
is all
small world.
intertwined,
I
yes.
know. And for 6 months, Alan gutted and renovated it. And it was really nice by the time we were done. I mean, I was 25 years old, so I was like, this is better than paying rent, you know? When Ben and I got married, we wanted to move downtown to Saratoga. So Sheila's like, let me list it for you. You were amazing. You immediately walked in and were like, we need to paint this room. She brought in furniture from home. And then we had one open house, and we had 3 offers that day.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, you
Well,
are.
thank
You're
you.
so knowledgeable, and you do help again, with whatever needs to be done, whatever aspect, just to get the
Totally.
buyer.
She's like, take this lamp out. We're going to use this lamp, and like totally staged it. Oh my God, you guys had the best photos too. I couldn't believe it. After your photographer came in and took pictures, I was like, is this even the same place? Like it was beautiful. Fast forward a few years, you just sold my mom's house. So, and my brother too.
Keep it in the fam.
Yes. So let's talk about your experience, Julie, in real estate. How long have you been doing this? What's the trajectory been like? I know you guys have a background in construction.
So I've been doing real estate for 25 years.
Wow.
Yes, I first started out working for my dad. He sold manufactured housing, and he had mobile home parks. He had housed all the athletes in the 1980 Olympics. So I went to school in Boston, came home, and was going to work there for a summer. And I ended up staying there, and then I ended up actually helping him in sales.
Oh, very cool.
So, and then Sonny and I collided, and the best way possible. And we started flipping houses. So we bought one, would sell it. We did 13 houses before we had children. So that was enabled us to, kind of move up, upgrade, and kind of start building a portfolio of sorts and get a credit line. So I started with him, and we were doing the houses, which was a lot of fun. The first house, whenever we would get in there, we would both agree on a sale price, and we'd put the sale price in the nightstand next to the bed. Whoever hit that could sell the house. So, of course, he came home one night, and I'm like, guess what? Love you. Sold the house. We made $25,000, and we were just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So I'll never forget it. We went down to Gaffney's and got a bottle of wine with a twist off.
Yeah.
And we were just celebrating left and right. And that kind of started the whole real estate, the love for real estate. Yes. And then we, the construction company started doing different things as well. And then I'll never forget, we got introduced to an opportunity with the condos. So Tom Ruin actually called us up, and there were 2 lots for sale. There were bookend lots on either side of an 87 Railroad Place. So he's like, what about condos? And I'm like, what's a condo? Like, yeah, it was just new to town.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because Bob Israel had done the first project. And I remember seeing it, and I was really intrigued by it because I loved the architecture. And it had a sign going 21/19/ he was selling them. And I'm like, okay, so those are the condos. Then Sonny and I took a run at it, and we started at 83. That was our first project. And I can go on from there. But
And on and on and on.
And the rest is history, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. So then flash forward, you started Julie & Co., right? Which is now 10 years old.
10 years. Isn't that amazing?
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. The anniversary is November 15th, and I don't know where the 10 years went, but I have such an amazing staff. Julie, Christina, and Erica are amazing. They do the day-to-day. They are absolutely the best support to my wonderful agents. We've built a great team, and like you said, Sheila, I like to have a good energy and a positive energy. So I know right away who's good for, the whole synergy of the boutique brokerage, and I think we've accomplished and built an amazing team. And again, we all work well together. I'm so proud of somebody calls and they need an inspection done and they're not available. It takes she'll put an email out, Julie, and within 5 minutes, somebody will be like, I got you covered. So
that's amazing.
Yes, it's wonderful to see everybody wanting to do well.
I love that.
And every time I have an idea, I'm like, Julie, what do you think about this? And she's like, that's great. Let's sit down. Let's figure it out. Let's go forward.
Like anything else, it's a lot of hard work, but so rewarding.
Yeah.
And just to see what we've built and where we're going.
That's fantastic. It's so nice to hear that you all support each other and work together. So, Julie, you have a unique background in both construction and real estate. How does that shape the way you evaluate and market properties?
So I am in the very beginning stages. With a project, we'll sit down with an architect and we'll be involved with the whole design process, which is quite lengthy, and you got to think it out, and there's all kinds of decisions in that. So once that gets finalized and we see that, the pro forma pencils, we want to then, once we get a design, we then take it to the planning board and all those boards to get approval. And I know that time frame as well. And then I get to see it come right out of the ground from pouring the foundation, if it's steel framed, if we're wood framed, bringing it all up with all the different levels of construction that that takes. I know time frames of things. So that is, you get to know the cost of all that. So when with all real estate, I can see value from that. With existing homes, knowing the process, knowing what you have to do. So I think that brings a lot of value. Again, with existing, with new construction, with commercial, second homes.
Now here's a quick message from our sponsor. If you're ready to live in a vibrant downtown full of arts, activities, shopping, fine dining, and world-class thoroughbred racing, or you're drawn to the Adirondack Park with its lakes, trails, festivals, and restaurants, it's time to call Julie & Co. Realty, LLC, your hometown brokerage with local experts. Julie & Co. Realty, LLC gives you the insider's advantage on what's available in Saratoga Springs, the Capital Region, and the Adirondack Park. And with realtors who specialize in lakefront properties, second homes, historic homes, land and commercial listings, they have the premier agent you need to help you buy or sell with confidence. For more information, visit juliecorealty.com. So you guys were involved in the Brookmere property, correct?
Yes.
So what was that like? I mean, there's so much buzz. Saratoga's newest property. I got to tour it. I did a hard hat tour and then toured once it was complete.
Yes, thank you. We had a great team. Again, A to Z. Have to give credit to all the team, from construction to design, from the developers, just everybody that was involved, the whole team setting up all of our relationships with hiring all the staff. That's been exciting. Everybody knows it as Longfellows for years and years. And so when we had the opportunity, we jumped on it. And we weren't sure exactly what we were going to do with it.
Yeah.
And then we sat and we were like, all right, let's keep it as a hotel. Let's bring a spa. Let's bring some more amenities with the restaurant. And yes, we opened that. We did a soft opening right before the holidays. Well, now we're open. We're ready for the season. We've got a shuttle that can bring you downtown so you can experience Saratoga Lake and have the best of staying right on property.
Yeah.
Or going into town and experience everything Saratoga has to offer.
I love that. I think you did a great job. Just the attention to detail from that beautiful marble, I believe it is, fireplace in the lobby foyer to the detail in the bedrooms. My God, the walk-in green tiled showers and the headboards that like wrap around that feel like a warm hug. I'm like, this is just, it was exquisite. Like I couldn't believe how beautiful it was.
Thank you. Again, there was a team of people that helped with that. And we have partners out there, and she was extremely helpful too.
Saratoga County has such a wide range of properties, from luxury estates to more modest homes. What trends are you seeing right now, and how should buyers and sellers be thinking about the market?
Well, Saratoga County as a whole is very large,
Yes.
right? So if we're expanding out to Saratoga County, then it gives opportunities to everybody, first-time home buyers, high-end buyers, second home buyers. When you're in Saratoga, since COVID, it's been like very, very hectic, and it's been a seller's market. Mm-hmm. And I feel it's kind of shifting a little bit. It's not so frantic. It's not so bidding like crazy. I mean, there's some. I mean, if you've got the right house in Saratoga, people want that. So now people are just taking a little bit of a breath, right? If they haven't been able to get into a house, then they're kind of used to where they are right now, so they're waiting for just the right house. Yeah. Inventory is definitely still low. We still have things for everybody. We can't let people get discouraged or anything. So whatever your need is, we sit down with you, we put a plan together, and we put our team together. We've got great lenders out there that can help us, and we've got our great inspectors out there. And once the team is put together and we hear what your needs and wants are, then we just go full force and we find it for you in Saratoga.
For buyers, just be ready to go. Have everything like you said. Have the check in hand, be pre-qualified, have all those ducks in a row, which you just mentioned that you do so well, and be ready to go. And for sellers, what I would say is, don't wait for the market. Put it on whatever time of year. We are still seeing multiple bids up to $1 million with escalation clauses. So, and we do it all. We do, from $100,000 up to whatever. We do the whole gamut, and that plays, I'm saying that with all aspects of it. So, yeah.
It is affordable. A lot of times I hear, Saratoga County, not affordable. But I feel like we have a variety of different types of homes. You could live, like we said, here in a mansion. You could live out by Saratoga Lake, where they have beautiful houses. But then you could also live in smaller, modest neighborhoods. We have great school districts. I feel like it's accessible for more people.
Agreed. Now you've got Wilton, you've got all kinds of surrounding areas
Folsom Spa.
Yeah, that are fantastic and offer that as well. And like you said, the schools are amazing.
Julie, so you've represented some incredible properties, including the Mary Lou Whitney Mansion. I have to ask, since it's such an important part of Saratoga's history, what was that experience like for you?
It was an absolute honor, I have to say. Mary Lou, getting to know her, she was just, oh my God, such a force and so giving, and just what she brought to Saratoga and her love for the backstretch workers and everybody, anybody, she was just so approachable and just wonderful. When John and Mary Lou got together, we got to know them and built what I consider a really special friendship. Those two together were a dynamo. When he called me and asked me to list it, John, if anybody knows John, he's absolutely amazing. He's very, very funny. When he wants something, you go. He called me. I was getting my daily protein shake, and he's like, Jules, I want to list a property, and we'd been talking about it for a while when Mary Lou passed away. So wanted to give him enough time and wanted him ready to actually, in his heart, be ready to separate from Katie Hill and move on to his next chapter. So he had called me, and I'm like, okay, no problem. What's your time frame? He's like, next week. Let's do it.
Wow.
Like, John. I'm like, all right. So again, got my whole team together, and we made it happen. It might have been 8 days instead of 5, but absolutely phenomenal property. The history in which it brings. It was the first stagecoach stop in Saratoga.
Wow.
So you date back to that. I mean, it just goes back. There is a George Washington tavern on premise. It's rumored that he stayed there. Mary Lou had always heard that he had actually stayed there. So you can see the pictures from the listing, but they pay homage to George Washington in that tavern building.
I love that.
And then her galas in which she would throw, those summer galas were absolutely spectacular. You would have designers like Oscar de la Renta. You would have Susan Lucci. You would have governors. You would have just who she touched and who came was absolutely phenomenal. The property itself dates back to 1826. The mansion is phenomenal. John went through and did some updating. It's very special. It sits on 122 acres, just absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God, that's just fantastic. It's such an important piece of Saratoga history, and I'm excited about the future. All right, so the property, the Whitney estate, including the Adirondack portion of it, right, is pending?
Yes, so the Adirondacks, which is Deerlands, which is an amazing property. It has 22 private lakes. There's cabins on all the lakes. The main old camp is just, oh my God, just absolutely breathtaking. It's amazing. There's probably over 100 deer that come up and they feed them. So you can they eat out of your hand with a cookie.
No way.
Oh my God, yes. And we've got pictures of it. And it's also public knowledge that the gift that Mary Lou and John are giving back to the town of Tupper Lake, all the proceeds from that sale go to the town.
Wow.
So, I mean, again, that was something very near and dear to their hearts, and that's amazing. So the buyer for that property also is purchasing Katie Hill. It's pending. We're not closed yet. We're hoping, and we're doing all of our due diligence now. So that could close by the end of the year. So.
So Julie, do you have the tea on Katie Hill? What's the rumor mill saying? What's going to happen to Katie Hill? Is it going to be a private residence?
So it's already published, so I'm not saying anything that people haven't read. It's a developer out of Texas. His name is Sean Todd. How I read the article, it's going to be a resort up north, and then Katie Hill could be a pit stop on the way there, and it could be a very high-end Michelin star restaurant. You may be able to stay on premise. So these are just what I'm hearing, you know what I mean, and what I read as far as a resort.
Summer and racing season are huge for Saratoga. We're right in the midst of the summer meet. How do you and your team connect with the tourism side, especially when it comes to second home buyers and investors?
I think you said it best. When you make a connection, you kind of, will show them what they have. I mean, we've got such an amazing, I tell people just, let's go to lunch, let's go downtown.
Yeah.
We have such a pedestrian-friendly downtown with the fabulous restaurants, boutiques. We've got the movie theater, we've got the bookstore, we've got the park. Again, I think what Saratoga has to offer, and again, you've got the racetrack, you've got SPAC.
People don't realize it. They hear about Saratoga. I mean, the racetrack is the oldest sporting venue in the country. Like, they think it's far, far out of town, but you can basically walk to it from Broadway. But when people come in and they're like, we want to know about Saratoga, I said, but first thing we do is I'm going to give you the tour. I give the best tour of Saratoga, and I take them all through. So by the end of the tour, they know exactly how special Saratoga is. I take them through Yaddo and tell them that story. I take them all up and down Broadway and through the state park, which is super special.
Yes.
And everything else, with the restaurants, like Julie said, and all of our music venues that we have, Cafe Lena, who's the oldest coffee house too. So once they feel that, they're like, this is a no-brainer. This
In
is
our
like
museums, the
That's right.
automobile, the dance museum,
The
we've
children's
got
museum.
the children's, the history.
We've mentioned this before. You have become the relocation expert for Saratoga. What advice do you share most often with people making the move?
Well, first of all, I have to know what their needs are and why they're moving here, and what I need to know their story before
Yeah.
I can tell them our story,
Yeah.
right? And so once I figure that out, then I can help them. But I help them live like a local quickly. And when someone comes to town, they don't know anybody. They don't know anything. They don't even know a doctor. Who do I go to? And at Julie & Co., because our roots go so deep in this town, we know everybody.
And that's what I think part of what makes Saratoga so special, and the real estate agents like you folks, because you really care about people. It's not just transactional. So, Julie, what are some of your favorite local spots in Saratoga?
It all depends on the mood.
Oh my God. Well, it's are you in the mood for Italian? Are you in the mood for great Mexican? We've got, oh my God, we've got great sushi. So we've got so many great places, and it's funny. Sunny and I will try to do date night once a week, and we jump around. So it's kind of all the mood, the feeling, and the flavor.
Right.
Sometimes being in our office right at 18 Division, we just go right downstairs to the Chianti's
Chianti.
because it's just right there.
Yeah.
I'll be like, meet me at the bar at 5 o'clock when they open, and we'll just dine right there. But oh my God, it's there's too many to speak of. Again, it's just walk down Broadway, and wherever you're in the mood for, go right or left.
Find it.
You can.
Now, here's a quick message from our sponsor. If you've ever struggled with what to say during life's toughest moments or how to show up for someone who's grieving, A Place of Yes is the podcast for you. Hosted by Heather Strotter, president of a local nonprofit, Jake's Help from Heaven, this show is honest, helpful, funny, and deeply relatable. We all experience grief at some point, and Heather has a way of making you feel seen, understood, and like you've just met your new best friend. Tune in on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The Bonacio name is everywhere. What current projects are you excited about? And is there one particular project that you're extremely proud of?
They're all like children to us.
I know.
They're
But
all
how do you
really
just-
special in their individual ways. I will say this, what we have coming up is currently 78 Church Street, so that's under construction now. And that's going to be 24 condos. We've got 2 commercial retail spaces. We've got a community room. We've got a gym and a rooftop terrace.
Wow.
So those are going to be beautiful. You're going to have hardwood throughout. They all come with fireplaces, gourmet kitchens, parking's included. So that's on the forefront, and we are taking contracts currently. And then yesterday, late afternoon, we were waiting for the Attorney General approval on 122 Regent Street, which we're really excited about that. Talk about historic. It's an old carriage house from 1888, which was the carriage house of the Mabee Mansion, which was on Union Avenue back in the day. And it actually housed electric cars back in 1888. They put an addition on in 1926. So we took that and we're making 5 high-end condos out of it. And then after that property was the Mabee Carriage House, it went over to Skidmore for a bit, and then the Waldorf School had it. So we bought it from them. So great history there. We're keeping the exact history with the slate roof, the architectural details from back in the day. So preserving it and bringing it back to a new modern era.
So many different things coming to Saratoga. Now is the time to start planning your trip. If you want to relocate, we've got your specialists, we've got your condos. Saratoga's the place to be.
It sure is.
So Julie & Co. and Bonacio are very well known for giving back. Hospitals, the arts, scholarships, and more. Why is philanthropy so important to you? What inspires you to make that commitment to the community?
Being born and raised in Saratoga, which Sunny and I both are, building our companies and then bringing people to live in our buildings. We wanted to just add to this beautiful community, and we thought it was very important to have a great hospital. That's very near and dear to our hearts, and I started volunteering on the gala probably back in the 90s. We love that hospital summer gala, so we're sponsors there and have continued to do that. And we just think that's very important to give back to the community that was so good to us.
Yeah.
And again, bringing people into the community and making Saratoga even more special if it can be.
Sheila, I know you're also pretty involved in the community. We've been on boards together. What are you up to now? Where are you helping out with the local community?
Well, I'm the vice president of the Saratoga Preservation Foundation right now. So we're very involved with making sure that Saratoga is growing and absolutely beautiful, but we're also making sure that we preserve the goodness of it.
So for those who might not know anything about the Saratoga Springs Preservation Foundation, could you tell us a little bit more?
Absolutely. It was started by Julie Stokes in 1977. So we're coming up on 50 years. We're excited to plan the 50 years, and we're going to showcase all of the buildings that the Preservation Foundation has saved over those 50 years. The first one that Julie took over was the row houses on Clinton Street. Those were scheduled for demolition. She saved them. And another one was 458 Broadway. It's even though it looks like one building, it's segmented in a bunch, and she made the facade look the same. A couple years ago, the foundation bought 65 Phyla. It was literally a minute away from the wrecking ball, right? And so for some reason, for decades and decades, it was just neglected. It's a beautiful old house, and so the Preservation Foundation bought it. It was a community effort. Like, again, what shows what a great community Saratoga is, that we were able to put it back together, just the outside. Yeah. And so now it's for sale for somebody that wants to take it and make it their own on the inside.
Right down to the original railings, the hardware on the doors, the details are just amazing.
The railings for the outside, for the porch, were in the house.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
the originals.
Yeah.
Even though the house didn't have flooring, it had the railings to the porch.
Do you work with like a historian or someone who tells you about these details? What kind of hardware they had, for example?
Well, the hardware was there, but yes, we do have historians and we do have wonderful craftsmen. And so since then, the preservation has bought houses on Clinton Street, and they're about to. It's like the only shotgun house, and so we're in the middle of rehabbing that too.
I just think that's one of the coolest things about Saratoga. You have the modern properties, you have the historic properties, you have these type of properties that are just spectacular. You live in an old Queen Anne Victorian, right? Tell us about your house, Julie.
Yeah, so it's there's a story there too. So we were had that, we'll sell if we hit the sale price. So sold the house over on Lefford Street. So we're in between homes, and Sunny had just built the ruined building, which where Putnam Market is now. So there were 2 apartments above. So we went in there in the interim to figure out what we wanted to do. We did have 2 ridge lots in Meadowbrook that we were dead set on building. So we were going to build new construction because we're a construction company. I was all about new construction. So our attorney, Keith Ferrara, had the home actually right across the street. And it was built in the 1880s, late 1800s. And the first mayor of Saratoga, Walter Butler, had lived there. We went and looked at it, and Keith's like, you can just stay here until, you build or decide what you want to do. And I'm like, okay, thank you so much. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'll never live in an old house, and just, wanted to kind of figure out, we'll do new construction. Fell in love with it. The kids were young, and it was just, you walk around and you just appreciate all the details, the workmanship, the hardwood, the mantles, the fireplaces, just the architecture and just the details. And, and then being downtown where you can walk to town was just fantastic too. So the house was for sale while we were living in there. And Sonny was actually on a snowmobiling trip going to St. Saint Anne, Canada. I said, Sonny, there's people looking at the house. He's like, yeah, Julie, it's for sale. So I'm like, well, I think I want to buy it. So he's like, what are you going to offer? And I said it, and we lost the phone connection. It dropped. So he's like, and the guy,
he hear it?
Yeah,
Or did he not hear it?
exactly. So we ended up buying it, and we've been there for 22 years. We did update and do some renovation, but wanted to maintain the integrity of the house. So we kept a lot of the natural, the details there, and we just love it. We absolutely love it. We've absolutely loved it there. I love the history. It is truly it's home.
That is such a sweet story. You and Sunny sound so down to earth and so warm and welcoming. I want to learn more about your love story. You guys, you said, went to high school together. How did you reconnect?
So we went to high school together, but we didn't know each other in high school. Okay. So he was friends actually with my sister, my older sister. So I knew of him, and I went to college, came back home, and we ran into each other downtown. And then he had asked me out on a date. And I brought 2 of my girlfriends, and we went on Saratoga Lake, yes, because I didn't really know him that well. I'll tell you, he was a lot of fun right from that moment, and we were kind of connected at the hip ever since. So the summer I came home from college, we met up, and that's when it all started. We've been working together for years and years, and we've been married for 33 years. People ask, how do you work
What's
with
it
your
like working
husband?
with your spouse?
It's actually, we have a lot of fun. There's some days I go right, he goes left. You know what I mean? It's just like we have the same vision. We really love
Obviously
working together.
complement each other, right?
Yeah, so it's been great, and we have 3 beautiful children,
Aw.
and they actually are all in the company as well. You know, to find that balance and all of that, working all the time and then raising the kids and building the companies, we were very fortunate that my parents played a big role in helping with getting them to sports and whatnot, and the tutors and whatever school needed to be had while they were growing up and little. And to this day, you still want to find that balance. And we do family dinner every Sunday, and we try to do dinner once a week. So yeah, you got to keep that connection going. And he's my best friend.
I love that. My God, the fact that you work together and you are still 30 plus years strong is impressive. So you're from Saratoga, you've graduated from Saratoga. What would you tell your high school self if you could talk to your 17-year-old self about where you'd go to college, who you'd marry, and what you'd be doing with your life?
That's a loaded question. I need a little more champagne. No, just kidding. It's funny because when I went away to school in Boston, I always wanted to come back to Saratoga. Saratoga always spoke to me. So I knew I always wanted to come back. Thought for sure, you know, you kind of had a high school sweetheart. You never know how that's going to end up. But no, would never have been able to write it better than it is. It's better and couldn't dream of it any better. Again, he's my best friend, and we love Saratoga. We love this community. We were so blessed to raise our children in this community, and our roots are here, and we meet people from all over the world. Some of my clients that come in that want to purchase the condos, we've had them from Dubai, Washington, Florida, Chicago, Boston, New York. So I always ask, what brought you to Saratoga? Again, kind of they just fell in love with the quaintness of it. It's not a big city feel, but a small city feel with all the amenities and great restaurants and sophistication that you would want, but with the old town charm and the history and the buildings and the architecture. So.
And Sheila, you came back home to your roots. I know you were in Atlanta for a while.
The community, I wanted the kids to grow up in a town, in a city. We call this, the city in the woods.
City in the country.
Yeah, city in the country. So I wanted them to have, first of all, family and community and a safe place to grow up. And there was nothing better. They're so in love with Saratoga. All the kids' friends want to come and be in Saratoga because of what we have to offer.
Okay, so I've got like 2 questions left. Julie, you've earned recognition as a top real estate leader. What do you think has guided your success, and how do you help support other women in the industry?
Do what you say. You know, if you make a commitment and a promise, just follow that through. Your word is everything. We get a lot of business from word of mouth. So I just think, if you're going to do something and you say you're going to do it, just follow through. Communicate, ask questions. There's never a silly question to ask. And I think just hard work. You got to you put into anything what you get out of it. I really do love what I do wholeheartedly. I never thought I'd be doing real estate, but you get to meet so many beautiful people, and you get to see the whole fruition from the start of the process, right? When they're looking at everything, and then they find their home, which is amazing. And then you can see them walking around the streets of Saratoga and just enjoying it, and all the restaurants and everything. It's just fantastic. So just hardworking, getting up every day and doing that checklist, and setting goals and just checking them off. And again, just say what you do, just see it through. As far as, mentoring, I make myself accessible. I love anybody that wants to learn, and I'm like, call me, ask me any questions. I'll try to help them, guide them. And again, they can call me. I make myself accessible for them for that reason. And I'm happy when they do take me up on that. I really love doing that as well. So if I can help in any way with my past experiences, good or bad, I will be an open book for you. And if you can learn something from that, that is just a home run.
You are such a role model to so many people. You made a success for yourself. Like, you did this through hard work, sweat, blood, and tears. And that's the success story that people want to hear about. You weren't just handed all of this. And not only do you present that, you give back. You're a role model to so many. You're successful. You are philanthropic. You are family-oriented. How do you balance it all? You're just, to me, I'm like, you are who I want to aspire to be. And I would love to know what your secret is to being
Happy hour at 4.
I'm there.
No, in all seriousness, it's a challenge. It's a challenge because it's a lot. And, Sonny and I, we do overbook ourselves. It's hard. I never want to say no to anybody, but you find that balance and you've got to find it. And as the kids were getting older and everything, they're in the company now. And us being first generation, I'm so proud of them because I see how hard we've worked, that they're just good kids, you know what I mean? And they've got a good work ethic. That balance is literally, you got to set your priorities, and it's hard sometimes, it really is. Again, my parents are helpful, my mother-in-law is fantastic, but the kids are older now, and we just have to make time for family.
Yeah.
Because family comes first. And I heard this once, and I think it's so true. You're as happy as your least happy child. So you got to have everybody healthy and happy and thrive to do that and be excited to hit the ground running, and some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield.
Yeah.
It's like Sonny and I always will go in after a long day and sit and be like, how was your day? And when we both have a good day, we will go out and celebrate, and you got to celebrate those big wins because life goes so fast and you work so hard, and you got to learn from the misses, you know, which we all have. So I think it's just finding the time, prioritizing, and really just spending time with your family and friends.
And you've put a good team together around you to help support.
The whole team at Bonacio Construction, my team at Julie & Co., my agents, I'm so blessed with that. Again, everybody just has that same foreseeable what they want to make happen and what they bring every day to the table. And they bring it and they want it, and we laugh and we have fun about it. And again, some days are harder than others, but we're all on the same page, and you got to have fun doing what you do. So
Absolutely.
It's all working. And again, you got to have great support. You're absolutely right. And you've been fantastic. You are very talented at what you do, so you should be very proud. I'm on the board of Saratoga Sponsors Scholar, and we have great mentors there. And that is such a great organization. They give opportunities to students that wouldn't have the privilege to do and learn and have the skills to go to college. And these kids are all just dynamic and so special. And we've got people that have graduated college that are doing their professions now. So it's a great organization. I'm blessed to be a part of Saratoga Sponsor Scholar.
I love that. One of my favorite quotes, and I feel like I always try to live by this, even though in work and life gets challenging, but if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I feel like that's what you guys are doing. That's what I strive to do. And I'm so appreciative to have this time with you ladies today. This has been lovely. I feel like you do so much for the community. Again, if anyone is looking to relocate to Saratoga, just to live in Saratoga in general, make sure you contact Julie & Co. for all of your realty needs.
Thank you for doing this, Mackenzie, and putting a light onto another way to promote Saratoga.
And this has been a lot of fun, and appreciate everything.
Please like, subscribe, rate, or review our show. Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Julie & Co. This podcast is produced by Discover Saratoga and Bright-Sided Media.